नमो नमः। एकचत्वारिंशत्तम श्लोकात् चर्चाम् अनुवर्तयामहे। पापोत्पातविमोचनाय रुचिरैश्वर्याय मृत्युञ्जय स्तोत्रध्याननतिप्रदक्षिणसपर्यालोकनाकर्णने जिह्वाचित्तशिरोङ्घ्रिहस्तनयनश्रोत्रैरहं प्रार्थितो मामाज्ञापय तन्निरूपय मुहुर्मामेव वचः। पाप उत्पात विमोचनाय रुचिरैश्वर्याय मृत्युंजय। हे मृत्युंजय, रुचिर ऐश्वर्याय पाप उत्पात विमोचनाय स्तोत्र ध्यान नति प्रदक्षिण सपर्या लोकन आलोकन आकर्णने जिह्वा चित्त शिर अंघ्रि हस्त नयन श्रोत्रैः अहं प्रार्थितः माम् आज्ञापय तं निरूपय अथवा तत् निरूपय मुहुः माम् एव मा मे अवचः. Let us look at what it means. Papa Utpata Vimochanaya, to release myself, to unshackle myself of the Utpata, of the fever of Papa, of suffering. So, from the suffering of the fever of suffering, I need immediate instant relief. Ruchira Aishwaryaya, and to beget more Aishwarya. Aishwarya is, see, it is loosely translated as wealth. Aishwarya can mean Ishwara Bhavaha, which means to be the Lord, to be in control of my own life, Lord of life, to be the absolute emperor of my own life. That is called Aishwarya, which means things will happen according to me, according to my will. Ruchira and such bejeweled, fascinating lordship over my own life. Ruchira Ishwaryaya, He Mrityunjaya, Stotra Dhyana Nati Pradakshina Sapariya Alokana Akarnane. In the worship of yourself through stotra, by doing stotra to you, by doing your dhyana, meditating upon you. Nati is to fall at your feet. Pradakshina is to go about round in round, circumambulating your linga. Saparya is to do seva, that is abhisheka, pushparchana, dhuparchana, deeparchana, and all that. Alokana is to just sit quietly and just look at and gaze upon your form. Akarnana is to hear to all the pravachanas of your legends. Okay, so this is what the second line means. Through this, what is happening? Jihva, my tongue, chitta, my mind, shiraha, head, angri, feet, hasta, hands, nayana, eyes, and shrotra is ears. So through the stotra, my jihva gets purified and it fulfills its purpose. Dhyana allows my chitta, my mind, to get concentrated and thereby fulfilling its purpose. Nati, by falling at your feet, my head itself gets purified. Angri, my legs get purified when it circumambulates. Hasta, my hands get fulfilled when they are doing your puja. Nayana, my eyes get fulfilled when they are looking at and gazing upon your form, your holy form. And ears get fulfillment through hearing your stotras, to hearing your legends. Aham prarthitaha, I have achieved, or here prarthita means I have been sought, I have been sought, or I have requested you to fulfill me, so Mam Ajnapaya. Now give me your command. I'm ever ready to do your uh, bidding. Tat nirupaya muhuhu. Mam tat nirupaya. So show or demonstrate that. Tat here could mean two things. One, it could refer to whatever the ajna needs to be done. Tat nirupaya. Tell me what is the ajna and show what I should be doing. So give me a demonstration of what I should be doing. The other meaning is tat refers to that, which in Vedanta is tattvamasi. Where you say tat means Brahman itself. So show me the supreme truth, the supreme reality, the vastness. Muhuhu again and again. Mam eva ma me avachaha. Me ma avachaha. Do not sit without speaking to me. Avachaha ma. Do not be. Ma. Do not sit. Avachaha means to speak without anything. That is to not utter a word is called avachaha. Ma avachaha. Do not be in silence towards me. Me. Mameva mame vachaha. This is a gross understanding, word by word understanding of this shloka. So, what is the tattva being talked about here? Let's first look at the summary and then we shall proceed. To release me from the exploding sins, to attain to rulership magnificent, O Lord of Death, my tongue requests me to sing, my mind to meditate, my head to bow, to my feet to circumambulate, my hands to serve, my eyes to behold you, and my ears to hear your stories. I am thus requested by many, please, O Lord. Remind me again and again to fulfill those wishes. Do not ever mute me, nor become mute yourself. So, what it is talking about is how the Jiva Atma, that is here Adi Shankaracharya, from a detached perspective, from a bystander perspective, he is just watching how each of his organs, Jihva, Chitta, Shira, Angri, Hasta, Nayana, Shrotra, they are all Prarthitaha, they are all asking me for Papa Utpata Vimochanaya to rid themselves completely of the suffering in each of these organs and to gain supreme control and will over the life that they are together leading. So there is the jiva, and then there are all these different organs which are functioning. And to for them to be rid of all the suffering and to gain control and mastery over their life, they know that their fulfillment and their purpose and the way to get to that is through stotra, dhyana, nati, pradakshina, sapariya, alokana, akarnane. Okay. So therefore, if this is the case, the jiva, the watcher of my own body and mind, I have been requested to allow them to do all of this. But I am not the Lord in any sense. Therefore, I am requesting you, Shiva, to command me to ever allow them to engage in such fruitful activities. Tad nirupaya, and show me the tattva so that I will be myself liberated, and thus along with me all the different organs themselves will also be liberated. Muhuhu, again and again, punah punaha. Ma me avachaha. Do not show your silence. Do not give me the silent treatment towards me. That is, let there be continuous inspiration coming from deep within my inner conscience, which is where Shiva resides, to me, that is I, the Atma. Let it keep coming. Let it keep guiding how I should be leading my life, and let it allow me enough space and fulfillment to allow in turn others the other organs and my mind to function at their supreme best by engaging back again in Shiva sadhana. This is a slightly tricky words to understand. I personally feel um, there's a lot of interpolation which needs to be done, and therefore also it is open to many interpretations, this shloka. This is how I have understood. If you have a different interpretation, please do let me know. अस्तु अग्रे गच्छामः गाम्भीर्यं परिखापदं घनधृतिः प्राकार उद्यद्गुणः तोमश्चाप्तबलं घनेन्द्रियचयोद्वाराणि देहे स्थितः विद्यावस्तु समृद्धिरित्यखिलसामग्री समेते सदा दुर्गातिप्रियदेव मामकमनो दुर्गे निवासं कुरु हे प्रिय देव मम मनोदुर्गे निवासं कुरु Mamaka means Mama, Mano Durge, in the fortress of my mind. So, if we were to understand the mind to be built as a very solid, resilient fortress, and because he is said to be the lover of Durga, and Durga, it's a pun to mean Durga in Samskrta means both a fortress as well as the Devi Durga. And because he is the Priya of Durga, because he is in love with Durga, the bhakta here assumes he also likes to reside in fortresses. Do you see that? So he says, since you are beloved, the beloved of Durga, Durga Atipriya Deva, you who are the most beloved of Durga, come, stay as the Raja who owns this fortress of my mind. Nivasam Kuru, and stay and dwell in this fortress itself. But what is the fortress described as? We'll see this. Gambhiryam parikhapadam घनधृतिः प्राकारः उद्यद्गुणः तोमः आप्तबलं घने इन्द्रियचयः द्वाराणि देहे स्थितः. So the outer deha, the sharira, is visualized as a city which has many entrances. Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Bhagavad Gita makes this comparison of how the body can be thought of as a city, a nagaram. Why? Because, see, in a city there are different departments, aren't there, to govern the city itself. So there is a powerhouse, which is the mitochondria and all the, let's say, digestive system. Then there is the gutter, the sewage system, which is the excretory system and defecation. And then there is also the transport system, like the blood vessels of the body. Then there is a central operating heart, which the heart of a city, which will, like Majestic in Bengaluru, which connects all the roads together. Then there are certain police departments as an immunity, lymph nodes and other such immunity endowing organs of the body and so on. So there are all the different departments and shared work of a city, very analogous to how our body too operates. And there are nine such entrances this body has. What are those nine? Dve nayane, two eyes, dve shrotre, two ears, dve nasike, two nose holes, Ekam mukham, the mouth. So how many? Two, three, six, seven. And then Gudadwaram, Upasthadwaram cha. The the defecatory entrance and the excretory entrance. These are the Navadwara of the body. Sthitaha, and in this Deha, Dwarani, Dehe Sthitaha, in this there is also a fortress of the mind. So any city, if you look at it, will first be will have an entrance, and then there will also be an arch. And after the arch, there will be in old cities there would be a fortress surrounding it. And that fortress is the mind in this analogy. Vidya vastu samriddhi इति अखिल सामग्री समेते देहे सदा दुर्गातिप्रिय देव मामक मनोदुर्गे निवासं कुरु. So vidya vastu samriddhi, in this city of the deha, what is the samriddhi, what is so abundant in this city? See, for example, Mandya is known for its sugarcane and sugar. Bengaluru, of course, for IT. So there is some vastu which is samriddhi in a city, which is abundant in a city. So here in my city, in in the fortress of my mind, there is vidya, there is knowledge, which is in abundance. I have collected too much information from all scriptures, data, and all, but though it may be in a confused, chaotic state of mind, but there is still vidya. And the other meaning of vidya is consciousness itself. Vidya, that through which we are able to look and understand at other things, is called vidya. Yaya Veti Sa Vidya, by which we are able to understand and learn things, is Vidya. So that is the Samriddhi in this city. Akhila Samagri Samete, and all other such departments. Samagri here refers to ingredients. It can, in this example, mean all the different departments are present in this body. Akhila, all different portfolios have been shared amongst different organs. Samete, and it is now working in unison, in synchrony. Come and live in this. Let's look at the first two verses. Gambhiryam parikha apadam parikhapadam ghanadhritihi prakara udyat gunastomah cha aptabalam ghana indriyachayah dwarani. So aptabalam means, what is the Sainya? Bala in Samskritam means the Sainya. What is the Apta Balam? What is the army that we have hired to protect this castle? Ghana Indriya Chayaha. The entire Indriya, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, and the Mano Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. All these and the pranas together are the guards, are the soldiers standing uh, in this fortress. Indriya Chayaha. Chayaha means a collection. So all the collection of the Indriyas are the Apta Balam. What is the Toma? Tomara means, what is the Torana? What is the entrance? There is some decoration always at the entrance, right? So what is that Toma? Udyat Gunaha. Udyat Gunaha, our rising guna, which is that sattva. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. So the udyat guna is the guna which is raised, which will take us above, will take us upward, which is that the sattva guna. It is the tomara, it is the torana for the main entrance of this mind, because it is attracting people together. And dwarani dehe sthitaha, and the other dwaras are are also raised in the body. Gambhiryam parikha padam. I'll get back to you what this parikha padam means in a while. I just need to look it up. Ghana dhritihi prakaraha. And ghana is strong will. Dhriti is will, bravery. Prakaraha, the arch. That is one meaning, prakara. And if you have seen in temples, after the arch, there is some space before the actual temple begins, which is also sometimes referred to as the parikara or prakara or the parisara. So that is the ghana dhritihi. That is the will of our minds. Why is that so? Because will allows us to roam around a little free. It allows us to exert freedom or withhold freedom from our senses. So that could be one of the reason why he is comparing dhriti to prakara, because it allows this indriyas, the soldiers which are present here, to walk around in this surrounding region. That could be one reason. One reason. Mm, and parikhapadam, I am yet to understand fully what it means. If anybody here knows, you can please comment. No comments. Okay. I think parikhapada means the moat of the the fort. So the profundity, Gambhiryam here, of course, refers to the profundity of the mind. That is, its ability to be deeply serene. Deeply serene. Deep means Gambhira. Deeply serene and calm itself is the Parikhapada. It's the moat of the castle. Uh, so moat means if you have seen the fortresses, outside the fortress, usually there will be a ditch, and in that ditch, it will be infested with crocodiles and very vicious, venomous serpents for warding out evil warriors who may try to sneak in through guerrilla warfare into the building. So there would be water, a ditch with infested reptiles. So that is usually what moat or parikha refers to. It's the first level of defense for the castle, isn't it? Correct, correct, Satyam. Yes. The first level, yes. So we could understand this verse by thinking maybe our serenity and calm of our mind itself is the first defense against negativity. And then the second defense, that is the prakara, is the our dhriti, is a strong will. Then the torana, so to speak, the actual entrance for the sensory data to come in is first it should be filtered through the sattva, the torana of sattva. And then still inside there would be warriors who are indriyas, who are um, well-trained indriyas, who are disciplined indriyas to fight out against any negative, intrusive thoughts. That they are the apta bala, and so is the body made with so many different entrances standing. So why what are they protecting? They are protecting vidyavastu samriddhi. See, if there is a fortress, it obviously means there is something precious inside. What that precious thing is vidya. It is jnana. It is supreme experience. It's our wisdom of our life, because that must never be snatched away. We can snatch away wealth, we can snatch away our ayushya, but one thing which we cannot live without is the wisdom that we have drawn from previous experiences, past experiences of our life. So, or it could be the jnana, which refers to the higher jnana of having realized Shiva itself, that experience of Shiva, the Shivatva, Shivoham. that should never be snatched away, because then we will again fall back into samsara. And so that is being defended very clearly by this sattvika mind with its well-trained, disciplined sense organs and willpower and profundity of knowledge and wisdom. So in such a fortress, hey Shiva, please come and reside here.
In other words, Shankaracharya is saying that Gnana is my fortress, but I'm going to give you open invitation to come and reside in me, despite having all these defensive mechanisms.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah.
So I'm protecting myself against any oddities, but you're most welcome.
Well, this is actually really well. It ties the sloka really well, yes. It ties that, yes, though my mind and body are well guarded, I am giving an open invitation to you to come, yes. Satya. Any other comments? Any other remarks? So let my dignity or profundity be the pillars, my strongest will the fence, my bubbling emotions the mighty army, the mass of senses itself the fortress gates, my body the fortress itself, my education, wealth, and abundances be the various treasures. O dearly beloved Lord of Goddess Durga, may you reside forever in this fortress of my mind. So the third line, Vidya Vastu Samriddhi iti Akhila Samagri Samete. So there it could literally be three different things. Vidya, which is education, Vastu is wealth, and abundance is Samriddhi. So where in my mind, sorry, within my soul, there are the desires for wealth, education, and other abundances and other growths, where it is so, which are themselves the treasures. Please come and reside in such a luxurious palace. That could also be one other interpretation.
It's also a Subhashitam which says anything can be robbed by any means, but the knowledge which you have gained can never be robbed.
Yes.
Yeah, there's one Subhashitam. But what he doesn't mention here is when the Alzheimer gets into you, even that can be robbed.
Correct.
But you're not aware of it.
Yes, Satyam. Very true. I mean, I also have this question: how can knowledge not be robbed of if, for example, a person is injured, or like you said, Ari, someone has a disease of the memory, then that can also go away.
Yeah, head injuries, the whole memory is gone.
Correct.
And Alzheimer's, the memory is gone, but the person who loses the memory doesn't know he has lost the memory. That's the beauty of it. It's the other people who know that they have lost the memory, but not the person who has lost it.
But will such a patient, a person, a victim of this, be able to identify himself what he was earlier, or is that also gone?
It's very, very difficult that they live in their own little cocoon mind. They go back to their own kind of childhood days, depending on their personalities. And they could form new relationship with people and become fond of those people, just like little children. But some people could be so aggressive and they don't want to know anything about anybody. And they could be fighting, they could be screaming. all sorts of things. It maybe, I'm not very sure, maybe it all depends on their original personalities. If they're soft natured, maybe they go back to their childhood days and sort of cling on to people. Or if they're very aggressive, they keep on fighting. And I've seen this, yeah.
Satyam, yes. And then Vidya, if we interpret Vidya to mean information, yes, by age, by natural causes, or through some accidents or diseases it may go off, then in that case, we may have to reconsider our interpretation of Vidya. Maybe that sense of I, the ego, may still linger even despite all these conditions. So I'm not sure, but that's a stretch of
Yes.
imagination to interpret Vidya as that. I understand. अस्तु अग्रे सराम मा गच्छत्वमितस्ततो गिरिशभो मय्येव वासं कुरु स्वामिन्नादिकिरातमामकमनः कान्तारसीमान्तरे वर्तन्ते बहुशो मृगा मदजुषो मात्सर्यमोहादयः तान् हत्वा मृगया विनोदरुचिता लाभं च सम्प्राप्स्यसि हे Girisha, Girau Shete iti Girishah. He who sleeps in the in the mountains, in caves and in the mountains is called Girisha. Hey Girisha, Tvam itaha tataha ma gacha. Don't start roaming here and there, coming here once and going there somewhere else another time. Ma gacha. Tvam itastataha. Bho. Hey. How you say macha in Kannada, you can say macha, don't move here or there. Be here only. Mayeva vasankuru. Stay in me itself. Stay in my own mind. Stay within myself. Don't leave me, leave my house, which is the mind, and go elsewhere. Stay here. Why? I'll tell you. Hey Swamin, Master, Adi Kirata, because you are the Adi Kirata, right? You are the original, the OG hunter. Adi Kirata, the original tribal man. If you remember, he came as a tribal, as a hunter itself in many of the Puranic legends. One is with Meenakshi, and second is with when Arjuna was doing tapasya for Pashupatastra. He first came and tested him as a Kirata. And even in the Sri Rudram, in the Yajurveda, he's at many times told as being Pashupati as well as the hunter, he who hunts other beings. And that comparison they make because he, as Kala itself, as time itself, is hunting and haunting people. What does a hunter do? He chases, right? He gives its prey a chase. So, death or time, it gives all its victims a chase first as prey, and finally, death or time catches up with us, and that would be the end. So, in that way, he is referred to as the Adi Kirata. Mamaka manaha, mama manah kantara. Kantara arthat aranyam, vanam. Kantare, Kantarasya Simantare, within the boundaries of this forest, of this well-grown, thick forest, which is my mind itself. Why is it compared to a forest? Because a lot of thoughts, a lot of overlapping, canopying thoughts, which may not allow sunlight to penetrate within. So, such chaotic, dense jungle of my mind is there. So, you as a hunter, where does a hunter hunt? In the forest. So, please come and stay in this forest. And because you're anyway a Kirata, you would love this ambience. Vartante bahushaha mrigaha. There are many multiple mrigas. There are many deers and animals that you can hunt. Bahushaha. Who? What are these animals? Mada Jushaha Matsarya Mohadayaha. Mada, pride or vanity. Matsarya is jealousy. Moha is confusion or not having clarity of thought. Adayaha and others. For example, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara. All Jushaha. These are all friends of Mada. So it could be that each of these deers, there is a group, there is a collection of such deers which are grazing my mind in this forest. So you, as a hunter, can come and hunt to your full satisfaction plenty of these mrigas. Tan hatva, you can kill them, you can strike and kill them. Mrigaya vinoda ruchita labham. You can either kill them for vinoda, for as a sport you can kill them, or you can hunt them for labha, ruchita labha, some valuable uh, products that you can get out of them. For example, from the deer you can get the skin or the meat, something which is valuable. The hunters usually hunt them for such reasons. They poach for such reasons. So some labha you can derive after hunting these mrigas definitely. Some props you see, you will definitely be benefited uh, and compensated well for this job of yours, for this work of yours. This is the a very interesting plea as well as an offer, job offer that the bhakta is making to Shiva. Come be my hunter. I have a big garden, actually a forest within myself. All of these mrigas have overgrown in their population. So why does a hunter hunt or a king hunt? To reduce the population of such both prey and predators. So you come and you hunt, and whatever game you get out of such hunting, it is all yours. You can sell them, you can benefit completely from all of it. You can exploit it as much as you wish to. मा गच्छत्वम् इतस्ततो गिरिशभो मय्येव वासं कुरु स्वामिन्नादिकिरात मामकमनः कान्तारसीमान्तरे वर्तन्ते बहुशो मृगा मदजुषो मात्सर्यमोहादयः तान् हत्वा मृगया विनोदरुचिता लाभं च सम्प्राप्स्यसि अवगतं किम्?
Ah,
Hey, dweller of the mountains, don't wander here and there. Come and live in me. O Lord, you are the first hunter gatherer. In my mind, in the limits of this forest, there are many animals such as pleasure, pride, jealousy, confusion, and so on. You can hunt and kill them for your own fun. See, there is a gain in being within me too. And therefore, since a lot of uh, mrigas are present here, you will never get bored. You'll always be entertained, Vinoda, and you can keep with your profession and draw as much value and profits from it as you wish to. Therefore, there is no reason for you to look for greener pastures elsewhere. Just come and be within me. करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गो घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोऽस्तजन्तुः गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः Hey Girisha, in your kara, in your hand, you have a mriga which is lagna, which is standing on your hand. You're holding an entire deer in your hand. Karindra Bhangaha. Karindra is the lord of Kari. Kari is elephant. Karindra Bhangaha. You are very similar Bhanga. Um, so now there are two meanings. Karindra could refer to both the lord of elephants, which means large elephants, or the lion which hunts these elephants. We can take two meaning, one meaning here, which is he wears the skin, the hide of elephant. He is called Krittivasas. And that means when he killed the Gajasura, he tore the skin, he flayed the animal, he flayed this Asura because upon the request of the Asura itself, because he said, I want to ever be a part of you. Though you can't grant me immortality, at least grant me this boon that I should ever be a part of you. And so he flayed him because he was also a Dushta, he was an Asura. So he had to take violent means to give this boon to this Asura. So he flayed him and he wore the skin, which is a part of this Gajasura, around himself. So Gajasura is referred to as Karindra, the lord of the big elephants. Bhangaha, he killed him, he destroyed him, and he has the deer in his hand. Ghana Shardula Vikhandanaha. And then, if you remember, one of the stories is when Prahlada uh, reached out to Vishnu to come and save him and show to his father that Vishnu is everywhere. Then Narasimha appeared, he manifested, and he started going into a rampage, and he was having a blood carnival everywhere. Finally, nobody was able to stop him. And then they all requested Prahlada to stop him. And in some tellings, it is told that Narasimha was not even satisfied, did not even listen to Prahlada nor Lakshmi to cool down. Finally, it was Shiva who took the form of Shardula, of a larger tiger. Actually, it's a hybrid animal with a tiger with wings of eagle. Then there is a serpent as its tail, and so on and so forth. So there are some five mrigas which came together to become this humongous creature, which is called Shardula or Sharabha, actually. Sharabha, which ultimately subdued Narasimha and cooled him down. Asta Jantuhu. Asta means cooled down. Jantu, this creature was cooled down, was brought into subdual, and by Vikhanna, overpowering, by overpowering through his Ghana Shardula, through his Sharabha Avatara, the greater lion. So the smaller lion, which is Narasimha, was subdued by this greater lion called Sharabha, and it was cooled. Girishaha, and where do animals and such wild creatures roam around? They roam around on hills, is it not? In forests which are covering hills. So Girishaha, Vishada Akritihi. You are a Vishada Akriti. You have a very large Akriti. You have a very imposing, muscular built personality, and your jata is making you look larger than your actual form itself. So, if you have seen Shiva's depiction, before he actually tied his jata up, uh, that is before the Gangadhara incident, before he caught Ganga and tied it in his mattress, he actually was disheveled. He did not have any tied knots. So, in such a scenario, because he is also Ugra, he is also very terrifying. His eyes are sparkling with the luster of the destruction of the universe. And he looks very alike a lion itself, which is about to devour its prey. So you have such an imposing akriti, and you are also well built. You are not frail, uh, sleek little man. You have all the muscle, you consume a lot of protein, and you have a very well-built body. And you are a Panchamukha. This is again a pun on the word Panchamukha because in Sanskritam, Panchamukha could also refer to a lion, a big lion. Why? Because the lion, the male lion, actually its mukha is enlarged because of the mane which is present. If you shave it off, it will look very small. But the mane around the face makes it very large. The head itself looks very large. That is why the name Pancha Mukha. Pancha here means enlarged mukha. The other pun here is in the Vedas, Rudra is worshipped with five faces. I shall send the picture on the group also. He has five faces: Sadyojata, Aghora, Vamadeva, Tatpurusha, and Ishana. So that could be the other meaning of Panchamukha because Shiva is Panchamukha, and because of his imposing body and large jata, he can also look like an actual lion itself. So in the Guhara, in the Kuhara, in the cave of this Chetas, in the cave of my mind, when I invite Shiva into this cave, he is a very gnarly beast. He is a destructive force within which is within me. In such a case, मैं कुतो भीहि भयः bhayam is bhihi kutah, why should I fear when I have Shiva, the large imposing lion like beast with a muscular hunky body who walks and fears not to walk on hills and forest terrains, who was able to subdue Narasimha itself through his greater Sharabha form, who killed an entire an elephant and flayed it to make it into his clothing, who holds a deer by his two fingers. Such a terrifying God, if he is on my side and if he is sitting in the kuhara, in the cave, because it is told that usually lions rest in caves. So in if he comes and rests in my own mind cave, then definitely no other negative thought or no other negative beast, sadist person or an evil man or any Rakshasa, be it metaphorically a figurative Rakshasa or an actual enemy outside me, nobody would have even the courage to come anywhere close to me. So this is envisioning Shiva in his most furious Pashupati form, who, see, the lion and the elephant are said to be at par with each other in terms of strength and being the king of the forest. Though we attribute the king of the forest to be the lion, this title to the lion. In fact, even elephants, if you are unbiased, you can see many videos of elephants also subduing and conquering lions. They're also the largest land animal present, the heaviest and the largest land animal present. So Shiva has beaten down both of these people, one through Narasimha Avatara and second through the Gajasura Samhara. And he holds the Mriga, the prey, just with his two fingers. He doesn't even need to exert much force or control to hunt or uh, chase behind a deer. He has just held it with his two fingers. And such a Panchamukha, Shiva, Rudra, if he is present in the Kuhara, in the cave of my mind, I have nothing to fear. Why to fear when Shiva is here? This is the purport of this entire shloka. Any other interpretations?
Basically, you be my guardian. You come and stay with me and protect me.
Yes, Satyam. Be my bodyguard, yes. Shiva, the deer capturer, the smasher of elephants, the slayer of ferocious lions, destroyer of all beings and dweller in mountains, the white-formed mane lion lives in the cave of my heart. What fear can then come to me?
That's why you have all these bouncers
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
to guard the
Uh,
premises
um,
because they are big looking. Maybe they are soft hearted,
mm,
but because of their features, big looking, and also they can overpower people. Maybe that's how Shiva is also described because you look big because of your muscular body and because of your mane and or jeta in comparison.
Satyam, exactly. It's a wonderful simile. Yes. And in fact, this form of Shiva, which as Pashupati is also sometimes referred to as Bhutanatha in some Dvaitic traditions. And though they, of course, prefer to worship Vishnu as the supreme, they still do not rule out the importance of Rudra. At least to this extent, they accept Rudra and they accept Shiva to be functioning and to actually also protect them as the Bhutanatha, the guardian spirit, the guardian devata of both the body as well as of temples. If you have seen some Dvaita temples, though it will be Krishna in the center and in the Garbhagriha and so on. And in some place in the Avarana, there will be the Bhutanatha, a linga of Bhutanatha, or some picture at least kept as the guardian. Even in the Kantara movie, if we see, the Panjurli is a form of Varaha, they say, right? Arya, have you watched that movie, Kantara?
Yeah, I watched it and it was absolutely wonderful.
Mm.
And I haven't watched the sequel.
Yeah, I think it is yet to release.
Uh,
So that Varaha there, the Panchurli Devata is the one who is listening to the woes of the village men and giving them solutions. Whereas mm, the Panjurli is always accompanied by a Guliga, that which is a manifestation of Rudra. And Guliga will not doesn't have the patience or the inclination to give boons and listen to peoples and help them sort their problems out. But it is the guardian of not just of Panjurli, but it is also the guardian of the village, the territory itself. So in that sense, it is called as the Kshetrapati, like the police who keeps patrolling around at night or in the morning, ensuring that there is no disturbance, there is no untoward event happening. That is the function of Guliga. In the very opening scene, when the king first comes to the tribal people asking for the Panjurli, the oracle first says, "Sure, I will definitely send Panjurli. You can come and, I mean, Panjurli as the Devata will come and reside in your palace and will give you all the samriddhi and happiness and shanti that you seek. However, along with him will also follow Guliga. You should always ensure that you keep your promise of having donated this much land of your kingdom to the tribal people, because now it is Guliga's. It's actually Guliga's land. He is the owner. The Kshetra Pati. Pati means the lord, the owner. The owner of this land is actually Guliga. So he will ensure that you have kept your promise and will ensure the safety of this land. So in that sense, Guliga, even in many folklores, Guliga is always the manifestation of Rudra, whereas the other softer Shanta Devatas are sometimes associated with Vishnu. So as a protector, like you rightly said, as a bouncer, as as the soldier, as a police, if he is there with me, I am ever protected and I shall find no bhiti in me at all. So though we may like to worship any other devatas, I mean, not commenting about anything else, but we will also need some element of fury and fiery devatas within us. Because even in our own lives, understanding, we would have come across many situations where not being angry at some person is actually has become detrimental. We should show some anger, we should show the right amount of rage as and when necessary to keep things under control and not let it go out of hand. Do you agree, Aryan? Do you think that is the case?
Yeah. It's like they say, stand up for the situations of like protect yourself. And to do that, you don't have to show the fury, but you have to be firm. And there are odd occasions where you have to show your fury, and because you have been very calm all the way through, and suddenly people, when they see this kind of fury within you, they back off.
Mm.
And then you calm down because you're normally a very calm person. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be a doormat to everybody and be trodden upon. But sometimes you'll have to stand up to yourself as well.
Absolutely. Don't be a doormat. That's right. This is really, really good. Yeah. Unfortunately, people who are soft-hearted usually find it very difficult to, confront and bring themselves to such fury. They become too complacent.
That complacency is because they don't want to go down to the level of the lowly people.
Correct, correct. Yes.
So you stand up to the situation, and when you can see eye to eye. But when the other person is so ignorant and he doesn't even understand you, what is the point in sort of lowering yourself to their level? Just be silent, and silence is golden. Maunam, maunam kalaham nasti.
Correct.
So that's my kind of principle. Sometimes you have got to shout, sometimes you have to remain silent, sometimes just take half action, and that's done.
But what do you, I want some advice from you, or how would you tackle the situation where a person has, used bad words and cuss words and kind of humiliated you? Would it be right for such a person to retaliate, or should they be in Maunam?
It all depends on the circumstances of like if you start using cuss words as well, so like it becomes a battle. Sometimes just you walk away from the situation, or sometimes you take them by the throat and give them what they need. Say what do they say in Kannada? ಮುಳ್ಳನ್ನ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಹೌದು.
Yeah. So sometimes if they're big bullies, bully them back. And in my work situation, I had several very soft-hearted consultants, but who were big bullies. I think, looking back, they were trying to actually test you out. And once one of the consultants, he said, why are you using this method? Why don't you use this? And I said, as long as you're within these 4 doors or 4 walls, I shall follow your rules and regulations. Once we get out of these 4 walls, it's my domain. I shall do what I want to do, what is safe in my hands. Safety is more important than anything else. And that was it. And from following day, I was his pet and whatever. He respected me. So they wanted some kind of feedback from me as to how I was going to react and how I was going to look after myself. And once they felt confident that I was going to be okay, they let go. They were indirectly, though they were police, they were indirectly trying to protect.
Wow. Okay.
So would you have confronted them? But I've had a different situation with 2 other country cousins. When I told them safety is more important, I shall follow your rules, they took it against them and they tried to ruin my career. But they were very well known for their bullying. But the other people came and protected me, and here I am. So nicely retired, happy.
Hmm.
Two different situations, two scenarios. So what was better?
Satyam. Hmm.
By confronting one group of people, country cousins, there were other people who were observant, and they were it was like a ring fight, maybe. And, and the audience, they decided who was better, though they were supposed to be the bosses.
Correct.
In the other situation, the actual opponent realized who you were, what you were. And he said, oh, we are friends from now on. No more fights, no more bullying.
Ah, okay. Makes sense. Hmm. अस्तु धन्यवादः अग्रे गच्छामः छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनिखेदभेदिनि सुधा सारैः फलैर्दीपिते चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् नित्यं शङ्कर पादपद्मयुगली नीडे विहारं कुरु इदानीं the bhakta has has gotten frustrated asking Shiva to come and stay with him. So instead, now he is only asking the Chetas, he's asking his own mind to go and vihara, to play about, to sport and to dance and live happily in the Nida, in the nest of Shankara Pada Padma Yugali, in the couple, the pair of the holy feet of the lotus like feet of Shankara, of Shiva, in such a place, in that nest, may my mind ever nityam viharam kuru, may it ever rejoice and revel in the nest itself. So that is again in the Sahasrara, let my mind ever be in drenched in the rasa, the amrita of samadhi, which is the pada padma of the figurative pada padma of Shiva. In the Shivatva, let my mind ever be submerged. And the comparison made here is with the bird as the sorry, the mind as the bird. So the bird is this young little duckling or let's say chicken is the bird. Chetaf Pakshi. Shikhamane. Again, a pun on the words. Shikha means head. Money is gem. So, what is the head, the gem in the mind, in the head? It is the mind. So, Chetaf Pakshi Shikhamane can also mean it is the Shikhamani, it is the best among all the Pakshis because it is able to fly quickly from one place to another. It may be even faster than the eagle, our minds. So it is called the Pakshi Shikhamani. He Chetaf Pakshi Shikhamani, Vritha Sancharam Anyaihi Alam Tyaja. Vritha Sancharam Tyaja. Stop fluttering about to other places, to other trees, to other branches. Stop going anywhere else. Anyaihi alam. Enough. Alam means sufficient. Saku. Anyaihi alam. Stop seeking anybody else. Stop seeking some other person to fulfill you. Stop seeking someone else, some other thing to fulfill and give you a sense of fulfillment and purpose. Alam. Stop it. Nityam, forever. Shankara Pada Padma Yugali. Come and be in the nest of this lotus flower of Shiva, and you can live in this nest forever because it is very soft, like the lotus flower. And you can also get amrita from the nectar of this flower. You will be fulfilled, your stomach will be fulfilled, You need not go anywhere else. It is a nida. It is a nest. You can frolic and dance and play about in this very safe nest itself. So instead of going somewhere else, migrating somewhere else into cold regions, see if you've heard Siberian birds actually travel a very long distance from the Arctic Sea in the North Pole and come as far as Himalayas, and they actually enter into India also. Just for what? For having a safe place and to evade the winters in the North Pole, and to come and have some variety of food. Just as we also go on tours to have a variety of culture and to do aswadana of other foods and recipes, it also does it. So, but it is a very long distance from the North Pole to Himalayas. So instead of going and migrating to all such places where you may or may not find total fulfillment that I seek, come and be with Shiva in the nest of Shiva. You will be warm, you will be fed, you will be looked after, and you will be safe. Vritha sancharam. Vritha means in vain, wasteful. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇಲ್ಲಾರದೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಸಂಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಕು, ತ್ಯಜ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅನ್ಯೈಹಿ ಅಲಂ, ಲೀವ್ ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸ್, ಫರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. I mean, there other birds also may or may not help you in this quest. So you be alone, you come and take refuge in Shiva's nest. Chanda Shakhi Shikhanvitaihi Dvijavaraihi Samsevite Nide. So now, how is this nest? It is described as Chandah Shakhi Shikha Anvitaihi Dvijavaraihi Samsevita. It is Shashvate, it is the eternal nest. So this nest will never fall down, it will never catch fire, it will never be destroyed. Some say with it is worshipped, it is consumed, or it is made, it is developed by whom? It is constructed by Dvijavara, by enlightened sages, by sages and yoginis. Dvijavaraihi, they have. Why Dvija? Because Dvija usually refers to sannyasis. The sannyasis are called Dvijas because they have the second birth. They have, after renouncing their worldly life, taken on a different identity altogether, uh, which is that of brahmacharya, of following always on the path of Shiva or Brahman. So they are called Dvijas, and Dvija Vara. Vara means the most excellent amongst them, the most who have realized Brahman itself, which are the yoginis and the sages. They have constructed this nest, and they have forever also lived and rented this place out. Chanda Shakhi Shikhanvitahi. And who are these sages? They are the Chandas Shakhi Shikha Anvitaihi. So they are the Shikha. Shikha means, if you have seen, mm, there is a small juttu at the back of the heads of priests. So that is called Shikha, that little tuft of hair. So in such Shikha, and that Shikha is representative of what? It is the Shakhi, it is the branch, it is like a branch which is holding the knowledge of the entire Chandas. Chandas here refers to the Vedas. Even the Vedas itself refers to it, it calls itself as Chandas. The Laukika meaning of prosody and meter is a later addition to the word Chandas. The word Chandas originally meant the Vedas itself. So, this small little tuft of hair in their head, which is like a branch holding the entire invisible knowledge of the Vedas in them, such great, excellent Dvija, such great, excellent sages. So, what is it all in all telling? That these sages and yoginis, having gone through all the discipline and training of the Vedas, have come to only do seva, have come to understand the true meaning of Shiva or Shivatva, and they have constructed or they have helped build this nest of Shivatva, a very safe abode, which is now eternal, which is Shashvate. Saukhya Apadini, which is also bestowing of Saukhya, which is very comfortable. Saukhya means convenience. Sukhasya bhavam, Saukhyam, convenience. Apadini, it offers convenience and comfort. It's a very warm nest. Kheda Bhedini, it destroys kheda, it destroys sorrow. Sudha Saraihi Phalaihi Deepite. And the nest is not empty, it's not barren. It has many fruits, phala and Sudha Sara of Amrita. All the sweet Amrita, immortality rasa is already there in this nest. So the mind will never go hungry if it comes to this nest and starts eating. Chetaf pakshi shikhamane tyaja vritha sancharam anyaihi alam nityam shankara pada padma yugali nide viharam kuru. And therefore, it is a very enticing offer, a very um, fulfilling place, this nest of Shiva. Please come and stay here. Avagatam Kim?
Avagatam, and also if you have seen the Samson and Delilah movie, the Samson had a juttu where all his power.
Oh, is it? Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end of the movie, I can't remember. I saw it some 20, 25 odd years ago, maybe. Once he loses his juttu, all his power is gone and he's destroyed. I think they must have borrowed this idea from this juttu, this shloka.
Perhaps very true.
Everything has been borrowed, and utilized in a different way. It was a very nice movie, Samson and Delilah. I saw it 47 years ago, and then again 27 odd years ago.
Ah, I see. What is the name? Samson.
Samson and Delilah.
Delilah. Okay, okay. Hmm. O mind, the pinnacle species of birds, stop flying about elsewhere. Take permanent refuge in that nest of the holy feet of Shiva. Know that such a nest is worshipped by even the most erudite scholars of the Vedas. Know that such a nest is the ever immaculate happiness bestowing and also at the same time sorrow slaying abode of nectarine juicy fruits. So you don't have to look for any other fruit elsewhere, is the implied meaning. आकीर्णेन खराजिकान्तिविभवैरुद्यत्सुधा वैभवैः आधौ तेऽपि च पद्मरागललिते हंसौरजैराश्रिते नित्यं भक्तिवधूगणैश्च रहसि स्वेच्छाविहारं कुरु स्थित्वा मानसराजहंस गिरिजा नाथाङ्घ्रिसौधान्तरे. Idanim, in the previous words, Shivasya Padau Padayugali Needasya cha Upama Krita Asit. Atra Girijanatha Angri is being compared to Saudha. It's a palace. It's a palace, a huge courtyard with a huge courtyard and lots of. See, in the um, olden days, at least some 800, 900 years ago, the palaces were a big thing, and there were in the prakaras many small houses. I mean, I would not call them houses, but uh, something like departments, which people who wanted had some work with the king or with the royal people, they would first, before entering the palace, they would go through the courtyard and get their business done. Maybe some shops were there, or some, you would have seen these attorneys who sit outside the court before the actual court for getting all the seal and stamp duties and so on. So all these little departments and little stalls were present even in the olden day palaces. And a very interesting thing about it was that there were, uh, don't take this the wrong way, but there were harems also. There were small, there were pretty huge rooms where people could also have their little affairs here and there. And you know what happens in a harem, right? So that is what also there was some opportunity allowed for that also within the courtyard of the palace. So it was nothing tabooed, it was not taboofied, it was not something which was shunned from society. I mean, to have a harem within the palace itself, just imagine the level of acceptance towards these vaishyas that the kings, the patrons gave. And they also lived happily. Uh,
It was legalized,
Yes,
then hidden.
correct. And till date, I mean, illegal prostitution, I mean, prostitution to a great degree is actually illegal. So, I mean, they were quite progressive and they were, forward thinking so many years ago too. They understood that mankind and humankind, they had certain urges, they had certain desires, and there were people who were willing to offer those services also. And if you have seen in many of these kavyas, many of these ganika stries, they were actually quite rich, though they did not, they actually followed a matriarchal system, a matrilinear system. They would pass on the wealth of from the mother to the daughter. They would choose different husbands, they would choose multiple husbands, they were polyandrous, and they were actually very well respected in society. They were very rich also. In fact, many of them funded the building of great temples, they sponsored it, and also of funding and being patrons of many kalas. They were funding this. They were called the Devadasis. See, it has now become a bad word, but Devadasi were these great rich Vaishya stries who looked after the cultural aspects of a temple. So they proudly called themselves Devadasi because they were the dasis to the presiding deity of the temple. And they would fund art, they would give grants to singers, to dancers, and so on and so forth. So they were the mistresses of the harems. And here, the mind, I mean, Shankaracharya is talking to his mind and saying, oh, so you have some desires, you have some urges. So don't worry. There is a palace of Shiva, which is basically the Girija Natha, that is the Natha, the husband of Girija, which is Parvati, which is Shiva. So Shiva's Angri, Shiva's feet has now, if you imagine Shiva's feet to be the palace, Saudha, Antare, inside this palace, Hey Manasa Rajahamsa, O Royal Swan, which is a comparison he's making. He's calling his own mind, Manasa itself, as the Royal Swan. What you can do is, you have some business, right? You have some work with the king. Do one thing. First, go through the palace. In the palace, rahasi, in privacy, you can get to do swecha vihara as you please. You can frolic, you can do your merriment and have your little urges fulfilled. In exchange, of course, for something. What is that? Along with the bhakti vadhu gana. So along with the Ganika Stris, and here the Ganika Stris are compared to the Bhakti Rasa. So Bhakti itself is the Ganika Stri along with whom the mind can revel and play and have its little foreplay and satisfy its urges. And there will be absolute privacy. So you need not worry. Hey Raja Hamsa, you can get to keep doing this as much as you want. So don't indulge in the senses is basically the idea. Don't indulge in the senses just yet. Try to control because the fulfillment of love that you seek, he's speaking to his own mind, the fulfillment through love that you seek, through companionship that you seek, you will get it in the palace of Shiva because there are the Bhakti Vadhu Gana. There is an entire harem of the stris, basically the representation of Bhakti itself. So, who will grant unto you the Svecha Vihara, the frolicking and the uh, satisfaction of the gratification of your urges. That is basically all in all, it is meaning bhakti will fulfill your kama desires. All kama desires will be fulfilled by a higher level of kama, which is basically bhakti. So, wait for it, just hold on. And what else is there? What else is this Saudha offering? Akirne nakha rajikanti vibhavaihi. There is vibhava, there is abundance, there is wealth of um, nakha rajikanti. So the if you shouldn't forget that the feet of Shiva are being compared to the Saudha. So in the feet, what do you see? You see nakha, you see the nails, the toenails. So nakha raji, the streak of his nails, the kanti, the light emanating from it itself is going to produce vibhava. It's going to give you all the wealth, property, and um, some lakhs and millions and crores of money that I want. Vibhava. Udyat Sudha Vaibhavaihi. Why? Because the nail, the glazing light which is coming from the toenails of Shiva itself is sufficient for granting Sudha, for granting Amritatva. That itself is the great Vaibhava, the great grandeur and grandiose sprinkling of Amrita which is happening on you. Udyat Sudha Vaibhavaihi. Adhautepi. And such Sudha is also washing the feet and the courtyard of this palace. So you will find Amrita flowing like, I mean, I should make this comparison, but unfortunately in Bengaluru, we see here and there every streamlet, it's not of pure water, but of sewage. But anyway, there are canals in this courtyard and in this palace of Amrita. Just imagine, it's flowing through all the canals in this palace of Amrita. So you can get to drink as much as you want from it. Padmaraga Lalite, and each of these water channels have Padma Raga. They have, there are two meanings to this. Padma means the lotuses, so it has lotuses, in growth of lotuses in it. Or the second meaning is Padma refers to the pinkish color. Raga Lalite, Raga is color. The pinkish color Lalite Hamsav Rajaihi Ashrite. So there is a pond of Amrita, and then there are lotuses blooming in it, and because there are so many lotuses in it, the lake itself has taken on a hue of pinkish red color. Lalite, and other Hamsas also have come here. Hamsa Vraja Ashrite. The other Hamsas, again, this is again a pun to mean Paramahamsas, who we refer to as the great sannyasis, the great yoginis. They are called Hamsas. They also have come here and they are here playing about in these waters. And so, you, the Hamsa, can first have your little merriment with bhakti in all these harems, and then finally come back to this pond of Padma with Amrita in it, which will grant you shining grandeur wealth by the toenails of Shiva, and all wealth and fulfillment will come unto you by just being in this very vicinity alone. This is the meaning of the shloka here. आकीर्णे नख राजि कांति विभवैर उद्यत सुधा वैभवैः आधौ ते पिच पद्मरागललिते हंसौरजैराश्रिते नित्यं भक्तिवधूगणैश्च रहसि स्वेच्छाविहारं कुरु स्थित्वा मानसराजहंसगिरिजा नाथाङ्घ्रि सौधान्तरे. The other reference here is that young women of those days, the maiden, used to play along with swans. They used to play along with the swans which were present in the ponds. So that is the reference it is making here when it says Bhakti Vadhu Ganaihi. Those young maidens who love to play with swans. You can also play with such young maiden and have your little merriment and entertainment. Whenever you are hungry, you can, because it is also again believed that the Hamsas used to drink from the place of Padmas, of lotuses, the nectar from the lotuses. So there are so many Padmas which have bloomed. You can come and have snacks there. You can have your tea and coffee from the Padmas. You have other friends, like-minded friends, the other Hamsas to hang out with. Then there is also no worry for you that you will be left poor. All your material life will be taken care of by the sheer light, as though coming from Chandra, from the toenails, the crescent toenails of Shiva itself, the white cooling moonlight which comes from the toenails of Shiva. O mind, the king of swans, ever rejoice in the palace of Shiva, the consort of Parvati. You will find that there are many maidens of love, many hamsas which flocking just like you, many lotuses blooming in beauty. The floors are cleaned with the Amrita, which is the divine nectar. The palace is resplendent with the white rays emanating from the nails of the great gods as they hold their folded hands about to pray. Rejoice ceaselessly alone, independently and wantonly like a swan. It listens to nobody. A swan, if you have seen, it flies on its own will. Though it may fly in a flock, it likes to be very independent. It likes to do its own thing, though with friends. So you can, to your complete fulfillment, to your heart's content, play along with these maiden, play along and with your friends, have a sip of nectar, watch the beautiful moonrise, so to speak, which is the light emanating from the toenails of Shiva itself.
So the world has never changed. It's just the same description.
Yes.
So it has been describing what was happening in those days. But instead of playing with real human beings, he's saying play with bhakti.
Yes.
You don't just play with your mind, not physically. So it used to happen then, it's still happening now, and it's still going to continue to happen in future. Nothing is going to change. Same old wine in a new bottle.
Absolutely. That's the sad truth. Correct. So you're absolutely right in pointing this out that if he is asking the mind to, instead of going outward, come inward, it obviously means there have been, maybe in his own mind or at least in society, he has seen how people were extroverted and external oriented then also. Yes.
Exactly. And if you have read the Sarvagna Padas.
Mm.
No, I have just read a few short things, and there also he just makes observation of what was happening in the society.
Mm.
In the end, it was his sister, and then he died because of her insult or something like that. I don't know the whole story of the Sarvagna, but I don't think it has been documented so well.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So there also he talks about Brahmin people
Mm.
mixing with Vaishyas. In those days, they were not supposed to mix with certain categories, but they still used to do it behind people's back.
Correct. Mm.
But whereas here, he is open about it and says what was happening in the society then and there. And it's still happening.
Correct.
Nothing has changed.
Yes. So, absolutely. The desire for vibhava, for grandeur, grandiosity. See, why do we go to the king's palace? To ask for favors for some material possessions, maybe to resolve a property dispute, or we want, even today with politicians, we go only with these problems. We want some more money, this problem, this property has been seized, uh, or we want a license for our business, so on and so forth. So vibhava, and then yeah, we want uh, our basic necessities of food and clothing and drink. So that is also there. Then we want company of people, so hamsavraja. Then we also want to fulfill our biological urges, so that is also there. We want to keep it private. He actually uses the word rahasi. So it's very interesting how people even back then, like you're rightly saying, they also wanted to do things behind closed doors. Yeah, it's there. In a way, it is both a boon and a bane. It's a bane in the sense that nothing much has changed, unfortunately. It's a boon in the sense that all the Upadesha which was given back then is still relevant now. So, we can't just push it aside by saying, oh, it was some text written some 10,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago, it doesn't matter anymore. No, because it is talking about the human nature, which sadly hasn't changed, so it's still relevant to us. So basically, it is talking how the mind should keep the company of good people, of like-minded, wise people through Hamsa Vraja. That is what it is implied. And uh, from Shiva, from God itself, must we independently seek or mitigate our own desires for Vibhava. Then we must make attempts to drink from our own pond of fulfillment, our own Amrita Rasa, and keep the company to fulfill our urges through bhakti. Keep the company of bhakti itself, of love towards God, of devotion and commitment towards a higher purpose. That will itself, he promises, will take care of keeping the urges at bay and Swecha Viharam. So he's saying go all out, but in bhakti. So whatever commitment we have towards a larger purpose, some mission we must choose for our lives, and then go all out into it. Headlong, dive headlong into this, and then all material possessions, material pursuits will be taken care of. We will be keeping the company of the right people, as well as our biological urges will get taken care of too. शम्भुध्यानवसन्तसङ्गिनि हृदा रामेघजीर्णच्छदाः स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासना ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित् phalabhyunnatihi. Let's first look at the summary. This is a little slightly hard shloka to understand. In the accompaniment of the spring of Shiva's meditation, in the garden of my heart, all the leaves of sin have fallen. Fresh creepers and buds of love have bloomed. Tender shoots of punya have begun budding. Tiny buds of good character have adorned the flowers of japa, which is chanting repetition. The garden is dancing in the fragrance of truth, in the waves of nectarine knowledge bliss, bearing the fruits of consciousness. Let's take a moment. Let's understand this imagery well. So, there is a garden of the heart. All the old leaves of bad memories, of things we have been hurt by, of all the papas that we may have ourselves committed, all of those leaves have fallen. We have moved beyond all of it. New creepers, fresh perspective, and a new chapter in our life has opened, which is of bhakti, which is of devotion to a higher cause. And then with that, we start working on it, and therefore we get a little punya, we get a little happiness. So, punya is a currency of happiness, as I always tell. Papa is the currency of sorrow. So, with punya, you can only exchange for happiness. So, it's a different currency. And with papa, you can only exchange it for sorrow. Unfortunately, we don't have any control over whether we can exchange it or not. Some money will get collected in our accounts, and that will automatically, within some a quarter, as we say, they settle the interest quarterly or monthly or yearly. So with some logic of the karma phala, these currencies get settled, so we will reap the fruits thereof. Then tiny buds of good character, and therefore through repetition, through sadachara, these little beautiful aesthetic flowers have begun to grow in my own heart through good, proper conduct and repetition too. A repetition of what? Of this tattva. See, whenever we are in love, we keep reminiscing and it's called limerence. We keep recollecting about that particular person or that particular object of desire. That is basically what japa also is. When we keep recollecting naturally of that supreme tattva in our own mind, that is called japa. It need not literally be with just a mantra. It can be any mantra, it can be any feeling, it could be any name, any person too. That is a japa. That is the beautiful flower which has grown in abundance in this garden. And there is a truth in this garden. There is the fragrance of truth. There is the sweet smell of being true, not just to others. That is just honesty. There's a difference between truth and honesty. Truth, satya, refers to being true to oneself. Whereas Rita, there are two words in Samskritam, Rita and Satya. Satya refers to being true to oneself, being true to what one's inclination is, being true to to what one's feelings are, true to what one's emotions and one's deeds are. That is being Satya. And Rita is outwardly, that is just telling things as they are or behaving appropriately with people and so on. That is Rita. That is a different thing. Here within my own garden, because I am doing Swadharma, I am being in complete resonance with my own nature, with my own personality. There is the sweet fragrance of truth, of Satya, which has come. And accompanying that are the waves. So in a garden, you would see a pond, right? This pond is creating waves of Amrita, of Jnana, Ananda, and Amrita, and it is creating more awareness within my own being. I have started becoming more and more aware of the workings of the world. I have become more conscious of both my own tendencies as well as of the working of the world around me too. This is the gist. Let's look at how each word here relates to that meaning. शंभुध्यान वसंत संगिनी. Saptami Bhakti here, Sangini. Vasanta is in the spring season. Imagine a garden in the spring. That garden is the garden, I mean, that time, the spring time is the time when I am engaged in Shambhu Dhyana. So there's a garden which is always present. If it goes through the spring season, it would be more abundant in its natural beauty. Similarly, the mind, which is the garden, the heart, which is the garden, Hrit Arame, whenever I am performing Shambhu Dhyana, whenever I am meditating on Shambhu, on Shiva, it is doubly, extra beautiful. The entire garden is now buzzing with so many things. Agha jirna chadaha. All the chada, all the leaves are jirna, all the old leaves, all the old tendencies, all the old hurt, the wounds of my own being in my history. Agha, all the papa, all the dukkha in me has fallen. Srastaha. Srasta means they have fallen. Bhakti lata chata vilasitaha. Small creepers, lata, small creepers have begun to sprout out of bhakti, of devotion, of commitment. Vilasitaha, punya pravala shritaha, and large shoots of punya. Also, pravala means shoots. Budding shoots have begun to grow. Deepyante mama उद्याने मम हृत् आरामे हृत् उद्याने गुणकोरका जपवचः कोरकाः are these flowers, different kinds of flowers. Japavachah pushpani. Just as we keep doing japa, each time there is a different flower which is budding up in my garden. Deepyante, they are all looking so beautiful. Deepyante. Sadvasana Jnana Ananda Sudha Maranda Lahari. And then there are Lahari, there are waves of nectar, Maranda, which is also called Makaranda, of nectar, of actual Sudha, of actual immortality, which has come through Jnana and Ananda, which has come through knowledge, wisdom of having matured in my life and having come to a equanimous state of bliss where I may go through pleasures and pains, inwardly in my innermost being, there is a certain calmness that is called Ananda, that is called bliss. And there is Sadvasana. Again, the pun is on the word Vasana. Even in Kannada, we have the word Vasane, which means scent. So, Samskrta talks of Vasana as in the Sat Vasana. That Vasana, the tendency of Sat, of truth, which is like a scent. A bottle of perfume, when it is opened, it will spread across the entire room. So, I being in my own swadharma, in my own guna, in my own element, I am spreading this joy and this fragrance of truth about myself. Samvit phala abhyunnatihi. And then there is an outgrowth of a phala, of a fruit, which is the samvit, which is of awareness. So this garden of my mind has started giving me so many good things, which is basically awareness. I'm able to concentrate and be more clear in my vision. Then there is wisdom of life experiences. There is an ananda, I will just put it as joy. Then there is immortality. There is a feeling that I cannot be harmed anymore. I have realized things. I cannot be changed anymore in a good way. That I need not go through the ups and downs anymore. I am now untouched. Sudha. Then there is all the punya, little bits of happiness and pleasure which I'm getting from time to time through my punya. Then there is bhakti. There is commitment. I'll just put it as commitment or love. Commitment. All the bad things of my life have now fallen like dried leaves away. They have gone off. All the papa, all the mm, ugliness, all the bad, ugly things of my life have fallen back. I am no longer interested in them, no longer even wish to recollect or engage, give it a second thought about any of it. And the ambience around is that of spring itself, a very benevolent, conducive time, which I gained through doing Shambhu Dhyana, by doing the of Dhyana upon Shambhu. So these are the different benefits he tells I get by cleansing my mind and then doing dhyana of Shiva, of the Supreme Tattva.
This applies to even extreme gardening.
Mm.
In a garden, if you just take an initial look, you have got weeds.
Mm. Oh, yes,
Take out
correct.
all the weeds which you don't want, which is not useful, and which is going to be harming the other plants. So it's deweeding. And then in its place, plant the plants which you like, which is going to give you pleasure and also easy to maintain. It's not complicated. And then once everything is sorted out, the garden looks absolutely beautiful. Then, if you want, you can add a pond, you can add a fountain, depending as to how big your garden is.
Mm.
And once it's all achieved, then you can sit back and relax with a cup of tea or just meditating and listening to the pond noises and the pakshis which come along
Mm.
and the noises of the pakshis. And that is going to be a total bliss to sit in that beautiful garden and be immersed in nature, and you can forget yourself. So that is exactly what he has been kind of saying.
Wow.
So deviate your mind
Mm.
and bring in the good thoughts, and then you're going to be able to achieve total bliss,
Wow. This is fantastic.
basically.
Mm.
I mean, it's like going to Lalbagh.
Yes.
When it's a horticultural garden,
Mm.
you go there, you enjoy the beauty, you enjoy the care, and you enjoy all the birds singing, monkeys jumping around, everything. But you go to some other uncultured so-called garden or just a wilderness, you'll see the difference. When you go to wilderness, depending as to how beautifully wild it is, you can enjoy the wilderness or you can enjoy the cultured garden. So he's basically asking your mind to be cultured and bring in the good thoughts and think about good things and spread the perfume of your garden
Correct.
and the flowers.
Wow. Yes. Very true. It's a beautiful imagery that he's painting of how, like you rightly said, with a cup of tea, we can sit and relax and uh, wind back after the days of hard work and toil in our own little gardens and watch and pluck the fruits of summit of awareness, eat them, drink a little fresh, lucid water from the fountain, smell the beauty and fragrance of the garden, hear the birds sing. Very right. But yes, I should also mention that de-weeding this garden would be a very tough task, at least to begin with. Don't you think so, Arya? To to be able to.
It depends whether
Hmm.
it is simple. There are weeds are not, everyone is not equal.
Hmm.
Simple weeds like dandelion and catnip
Hmm.
and brambles And if you want to start tackling the brambles, you'll have to make sure that the thorns is not going to hurt you. So how are you going to deweed a bramble? You'll have to make sure that you have got a pair of gloves. It doesn't stick into your hands, and the thorns don't hurt you. It's a big task.
Absolutely.
You have to protect yourself before you can start deweeding. So you should be determined, in other words, to deweed your mind. If there's no will, there's no way. You can sit back and relax, the weed grow, and who is going to bother? So let it be. Let the nature take course. That's also another possibility of tamasguna.
Correct.
Or you can say, no, I'm going to tackle this, and this is the way I'm going to tackle, and then clear it up. So that will become rajas. And then once you achieve your aim, it becomes sattvic.
Sattvic, yes.
That's my interpretation.
Samyak, ati samyak. Mm. And in line with this imagery that he is again drawing from horticulture and gardens and agriculture, let's look at another shloka quickly. Nityanandarasalayam suramuniswantambujatashrayam swachham sadvijasevitam kalusharit sadvasana vishkritam शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रजमनोहंसावतं सस्थिरम् किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि. Just as before, he is comparing Manas to Hamsa, O royal swan of the mind. Avatamsa means the greatest. Hamsa Avatamsa means, O most excellent of all Hamsas, which is the mind. Because it is pure. See, the mind, he is comparing it to Hamsa because of two reasons. One, like Hamsa, it can discriminate between the good and the bad, between milk and water. That is the belief. And secondly, because it is white in color, it represents, like Arya was telling, Sattvika nature. By nature, it is Sattvika. It is meant to be Sattvika. But the Rajas, mm, the clouding with Tamas and the distractions of Rajas has painted this swan into some other different colors. However, he recognizes and says, Hey Manas, O dear mind of mine, you are actually a Hamsa. And one other very spectacular pun is Hamsa is actually a mantra. Hamsa Soham. When you say Soham, I am that, I am that, I am that. If you just reverse it, it becomes Hamsa. Right? So that is also another hidden meaning. So the mind which is always in the state of Soham, which is called also the Hamsa. What it should do? Sthiram Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Vraja. Go to the Sarovara, the lake of Shambhudhyana. Go to this lake which is called as the meditation of Shiva itself. That is itself the lake into which you should go, this swan should go. Sthiram, because it is sthira. This Shambhudhyana is a continuous, unchanging, unbreaking, ceaseless emotion, ceaseless phenomenon. Go there. What will you do by going into Kshudra Ashraya Palvala Brahmana Sanjata Shramam Prapsyasi? What will you go to, what will you gain by going to small ditches, small ponds and puddles in which Kshudra means small. Kshudra Ashraya means small ditches. Palvala, some weeds and some random plants have grown in such ditches. What will you go by doing Brahmana? By going around from one small ditch to another, another ditch to another, and so on, looking for something which you will never find in any of these. What you will get is finally Sanjata Shramam. You will get Shramam Prapsyasi. You will be ultimately tired. The only thing you will get there is tiredness, is boredom. It is exhaustion. So instead of going to small ditches and trying to find that fulfillment, in people, in things, in work, in life, in partying, and all that. Instead, come to this sthira, this ever present, ever continuous phenomenon called as Shambhu and live happily there. And some more description of this lake is given. Nityananda Rasalayam. So what do I get in being in, I mean, coming to this lake? Nitya Ananda Rasa. I will get the rasa, the juice, the water of total immersed immortality and ananda. Sura Muni Swanta Ambujata Ashrayam. So it has Ambuja, which is again lotuses and lilies have grown. Who are these? These are the Sura Muni. These are the Devatas and the other like minded yoginis and the sages who have offered themselves completely into Shambhu Dhyana, which is why they are glowing like lotuses in a pond. Swachham, this water is clear. It is not like the ditches and the sewage is kalushita. It is not so. It is swachham. It's clear. Sadvija sevitam. It is uh, it is visited by Dvijas. Again, Dvijas refers to the Brahmajnanis, those who are very mature in their life and ultimately realize their fulfillment. They are called Dvijas and they keep visiting this pond. The other meaning of Dvija is mm, it could be the elephants. Elephants are also sometimes called as Dvijas. If you have seen this, elephants come to very clear ponds and drink water from it. So Sadvija Sevitam can also refers to these elephants of people, elephant of wise sages who come and drink from this pond of clear, lucid, sweet water of Amrita. Kalusha Hrit Sadvasana Avishkritam. So it is Avishkritam, it is cleaned, it has cleansed, it has filtered out the Kalusha Hrit. It has filtered out the Kalusha, the impurities, the pollutants from the Hrit, from our heart. And instead, it has replaced it with Satvasana. It has replaced it with good, positive thoughts. So, such a lake with such magical powers and magical water, hey, mind, please come and engage in frolicking with Shambhu Dhyana. Leave out going to all and visiting all these little ditches because ultimately the only thing you will get out of all of it is Shrama. You will get completely existentially exhausted and ultimately you may towards the end of your life be left with absolutely zero power, zero strength and health remaining to actually do any sadhana anymore. So instead of doing all of this, he is speaking to him his own mind and says, please come because you are the most excellent amongst manas. You know to discriminate between the right and the wrong. You have great discretionary power you have. So you know what is right, what is wrong. You know what will not give you joy, what will give you complete joy. You have seen the workings of the world. Still stop going out of the force of habit to all these little puddles. Come for this deep, clear lake of meditation. Anything you want to add, Arya?
Actually,
Shruyate, vadatu.
I actually seen this elephant drinking water. There was a pond which was really filled with hippos
Hmm.
and a kind of sandbank. And the elephant actually sort of quite a distance away from the actual pond, because the water seeps and then there's a kind of water table anyway you should go. And this elephant dug one hole. It didn't like that hole, and it came away and it dug another hole in the sand. And then it took out all the muddy water and threw it away, literally sprayed it away. And then finally it found a kind of filtered water away from the pond. It drank the water and went.
Wow.
That is the cleverness of the elephant. It was so much appreciable. And we sat there watching, sort of like it was an effort for the elephant, but it achieved what it wanted to achieve.
Mm. This is fantastic. I mean, is it so I mean, it's a wonder that it is so intelligent that it can actually do all of this.
Yeah, and we were just wondering, what is it doing? And then we sussed it out. Yes, he's wanting clear water away from the pond. And because it is sand, it has filtered. All those kalmashas are actually in the pond and away from the water. And the water is clear, which hopefully was good for his digestive system. But nature takes care of such.
Absolutely, yes. And we think we only humans are really intelligent and all other creatures are dumb. I mean, all these little acts prove us otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very beautiful
We
image.
also have seen elephant trunk, which was deformed and short. And with that short trunk, the elephant managed to sort of grow old and sort of managed to get the water. No issues. Deformed.
Right. Astu. We'll just look at the summary and we will close for today. O mind, the greatest among the swans, stop fluttering here and there. You'll only grow tired of such meager small tanks. Go there where the steady lake of Shiva's meditation is. Go there where ecstatic waves crash the shores. Go there where lotuses of gods and sages bloom. Go there where you can be unbound, you can move unbound. Go there where eminent intellectuals drink from to transform their polluted hearts into sweet smelling, clear ones. Astu. With this, let's stop. अग्रिमकक्षायां मिलामः अनेके धन्यवादाः नमस्ते
धन्यवाद